even know that it works, so we're going to go to plan B. This is one of the, I clicked it out, I know how to do this. So this is one of the joys of speaking, is that you have things that just go wrong. And so if this happens on a webinar, we're all like, oh dear God, like we just start to panic. But there we go, all right, there we go. You guys having a good day so far? Doing well? Doing well? Let's do a quick thumb check. If you're doing really well, give me 2 thumbs up. If you're having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, all right, shall we, oh good. Check each other's thumbs. Make sure they're alive and well. Good, good. Don't show each other your spirit finger. None of that today. That's not allowed. All right, let's do this. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. You're like, dude, I just got comfortable. Stand up, stand up. You're going to be all right. I need everyone to find a partner real quick. Everybody find a partner. Find a partner, find a partner, find a partner, find a partner. I need you to turn and look at your partner. I need you to turn and look at your partner right now. Turn and look at your partner. Yeah, first of all, here, let's do this. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Let's try that again. That was weak. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. All right, I need you with your partner. I need you to exchange 3 pieces of information, all right? What is your name? Where are you from? What is the greatest breakfast cereal of all time? All right, talk amongst yourselves. Go. We're back on there. All right, here's what I need you to do. One more time. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, I need you to turn, look back at your partner. I want you to say this. I want you to say, hello, friend. Hello, friend. I'm glad you're here. Because if you weren't, I'd be talking to myself. How many of you talk to yourselves anyway? I do. Oh, this is good. All right, this is also very awkward. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a quick game. This is one of my favorite games in the world. The game is very simple. Pay close attention. The game is called Rock, Paper, Anything. All right, rock, paper, anything. This is played exactly like it sounds, right? On the count of 3, you're going to throw rock, paper, or anything you think will beat rock or paper. All right? So some of you are going to come up with some jacked up stuff right now. All right? Some of you might need some therapy after this game. So come up with something good. Face your neighbor on the count of 3. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Kodiak Bear.
Kodiak Bear. I like that. That was good. That was good. Well done. Well done. People come up with some weird stuff. All right. One more time. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Try one more time. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, you can have a seat. On your way back to your seat, I need you to find 5 people. Give them a high five. Find 5 people. Give them a high five. 5 people. Give them a high five. Good. There you go. There you go. Give 5. Make sure you got 5. There we go. Now we're moving. Now we're moving. Have a seat. Have a seat. That's how we spread disease. Well done. Welcome back from lunch. So my name's Grant, and I have a really cool job because I get to travel around the country, I get to hang out with people, and I get paid to run my mouth, which is a really good gig. Some of you would actually be really good at my job, as a matter of fact. And so for the past about 8 years or so, I've been a full-time speaker. I get to travel all over, primarily in the U.S. Like Omar said, I've spoken at about 400 paid speaking engagements. We've spoken to almost over 400,000 people live. And so one of the things I really, really enjoy about speaking is being able to actually see people, being able to look at people in the faces and read their reactions. And it's kind of whenever you're giving a presentation, when you're doing public speaking, it's kind of like doing improv. You know, you're really kind of making adjustments on the fly and based on, okay, they laughed at this or they didn't laugh at this or maybe that didn't make sense, so let me explain that a little bit more. And so I've always really, really enjoyed speaking. There's nothing quite like being in front of a live audience. We were talking a little bit about this last night, that there's times where you're in front of a live audience and you get done and you're like, that was awesome, I want to do that again. And there's times you get done and you're just like, oh, that was a disaster. Like, I am a failure of a human being. Like, let's never have that experience again. But that's part of the fun of doing something in front of live people, is because you can engage, you can interact with them. So for the past, like I said, 8 years or so, I've been a speaker, and I really like speaking, but part of the challenge with speaking is that it doesn't scale real well. And so it's the nature of the job is that I have to get on a plane, I have to leave my family, I have to go somewhere else. I'll be on stage for 20 minutes or 30 or 45 minutes or whatever, and then I will head back home. And so the nature of it is I'm here with you right now, we're all together, but I can't be speaking in other places. I can't be giving other engagements in other places. And so while it's a lot of fun, there's definitely limitations to it. And I'm actually, I'll tell you a little bit about my family. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. Oh, I know, isn't that cute, huh? It gets better. You're going to like this. When we started dating, I was a freshman in high school. She was a junior. Oh, what's up now, huh? That's right. Hashtag baller. So we dated for a while. We got married, and then she couldn't keep her hands off me, and now we have 3 little girls. And so it's me in my own little Barbie dream house. It is awesome. I absolutely love it. And so, as much as I love hanging out with you, as much as I enjoy traveling and getting to speak, it's a great, great gig. I don't like leaving my family. In fact, right before this, my oldest daughter, who's 9, she called and she said, "Daddy, I just won 2nd place in this local art contest," which is so cool, but I'm here with you. So it's a bummer, And so for the past year or 2, I've been trying to figure out, how can I continue to speak? How can I continue to make some type of impact or difference with what it is that I do while not having to constantly leave my family, while not having to constantly go to the airport or be on a plane or be in a hotel? How do you actually do that? And so there's this thing called webinars, which is really cool. That's why we're all here. So earlier this year, people asked me a lot about speaking. They want to know, how do I get booked? If I wanted to speak, if I wanted to give presentations, how would I go about actually doing that? And so we created a course called Booked and Paid to Speak. So we're teaching all about how you build a speaking business, how you find bookings, how you connect with decision makers, how you negotiate fees. And so we were like, okay, we've got this course, we've got this thing now, so how do we actually market it? How do we actually begin to sell it? And so I knew that webinars seemed like a good possible option for that. So I started kind of looking around, and Omar kind of alluded to this, of seeing what other people are doing, and not necessarily just blatantly copying them, but okay, that worked for them. I think this could work for me as well. And so a big model that I looked at is what John and Kate have done. And they're doing these webinars all the time, and people seem to be showing up and buying. How do they actually do this? So I went back and started actually reading through all their old posts about what were their show-up rates and what were their conversion rates and how much were they spending on Facebook ads, and could this whole model work for us? And so we built the course, and we launched it this past March, and we kind of follow that model of doing webinars pretty much every single week, doing live webinars primarily through Facebook ads, and we've thankfully had a little bit of success with it. But whenever you're speaking on a webinar, it's very, very different than when you're speaking to a live audience, because you can't see anybody. I can't see you nod. I don't know. There could be hundreds, there could be thousands of people on a webinar, but none of them may be paying attention. They may be all checking email. They may all be on Facebook. You just don't necessarily know. And then how many of you have hosted your own webinar, at least one before? Okay, how many of you have been on Google Hangouts enough to know about the little 30 to 45 second delay? You've experienced that before? Okay, people, we need to make sure everybody knows about this, all right? Because at the beginning, you don't know about that when you're doing your first webinar. So I vividly remember doing my first webinar, and I'm used to I can ask you a question, you can raise your hand, but in a webinar, I'd ask a question, and it's just silence for a long period of time, an awkward, uncomfortable amount of time, till you're just is anyone even here? It is a really painful, and then all of a sudden all the answers start coming in. And it's kind of how many of you have ever seen whether you have kids or not, how many of you have seen the show Dora the Explorer? You've seen Dora, right? And one of the things that Dora likes to do is she likes to ask the audience questions, but then she pauses for an uncomfortable amount of time to wait for the answer. So Dora will just stare at you. She's like, "Do you see the blue backpack?" And it's just that's the way I felt doing webinars. It's you guys having fun? Are you learning anything? And you're anybody out there? Just someone say, Mom, chime in, say that you're having fun right now. So how do you keep people engaged on a webinar? How do you connect with when you don't have that human connection? And so that's what I want us to talk about. Everybody got a worksheet whenever you came in? You got a worksheet? We're going old school here. You got something to write with? You got a pen, pencil, marker, crayon, lipstick, chapstick, nail polish, blood, whatever you need to use is fine. Don't use your own blood. That's wasteful. Use your neighbor's. So let's jump in here. You can write these down as we go. Number one, you can write this down. Number one is make human connections. Make human connections. How many of you, when you get out of curiosity, how many of you, when you get a fill-in-the-blank worksheet like this, you start skipping around trying to guess the correct answers? How many of you do that? How many of you have your own scoring system? If you get one correct, you're yes, 5 gold stars for me. How many of you do that? These people need friends, okay? How many of you turn it into your own little Mad Lib? You're just adjective, verb, noun. How many of you do that? Don't mess with my worksheet. All right, make human connections. Next one, underneath that, you can write this down. Say my name. Say my name? Underneath that, you can write this down. People have a deep need to be known. People have a deep need to be known. One of the best ways to connect with an audience is just saying someone's name. Like the reality is we're all very vain, arrogant people, and we want to hear our name. And you can tell the difference even like a conference like this when someone knows your name and when they don't. Like you see someone and you're like, hey, you? How you, girl? What are you doing, man? And like, you can just tell whether or not someone, but if someone says your name, it's like, wow, I love hearing that. So at the beginning of a webinar, just taking time to acknowledge people, to give shout-outs. Hey, I see John here from Kentucky. We see George over here in Mississippi. We see Carol over here. Like just saying people's names. I'm going to give you a little confession. I don't know if you've ever done this, and I'm not super proud of this, but I've done this. How many of you have ever hopped on some type of like live interaction, whether it's like primarily through Periscope is one thing I think of. How many of you have ever like hopped on Periscope, someone else's Periscope, and you're like waiting for a moment, you chime in just to say like a comment or to be acknowledged, and once they acknowledge you, like you log off? Like the whole point, like I've done that a time or two. Like I'm not proud of it. I'm just like this stays in this room, right? Like there's times where I've hopped on and I'd said something like, oh, there's Grant from Tennessee. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like that's it, because we just have this deep need to be acknowledged, to be known. So say people's names. Build those human connections with people. Next one, number 2. You can write this down. Number 2 is command their attention. Command their attention. Underneath that, you can write this down. Be fully present. Be fully present. Again, part of the challenge with a webinar is you can't see how everyone else is doing. You can't see where people are at. You can't see, are they with me? Are they not with me? Are they on Facebook? Are they checking their phone? I don't know. I can't really tell. And so at the beginning of our webinars, one of the things that we always do is say, hey, I want you to do a favor for myself and for you, is I want you to be fully present. I want you to turn off your cell phone. I want you to turn off of Facebook. I want you to be right here. And I want to keep them engaged. I want to ask for that up front because it's really difficult to be fully present. How many of you have noticed this? A lot of times our minds are in one of two places. Either I'm thinking about where I just came from, or I'm thinking about where I'm going. Okay, I just got out of lunch. Okay, I just saw that other session. I just checked my email. Or I'm thinking about where I'm going. Okay, as soon as we're done here, I need to make sure I talk to that other person. What time's my flight leave? What are we doing for dinner tonight? I'm thinking about where I came from, or I'm thinking about where I'm going. It's very difficult to be fully present. How many of you have ever been talking with someone and you kind of feel like, I could say anything right now, it wouldn't make a difference because you're not here. Like, how does that make you feel? Can I just punch you in the throat real fast? Like, it's just really, really aggravating, right? How many of you have had the opposite experience where I'm talking to someone and like there could be any number of distractions, but they are right here with me? How does that make you feel? Good, important, significant, valued? Some of you are like, uncomfortable? Why? Because I'm not used to someone actually paying attention when I speak. Most of us were just like, no, I'm listening. That's so cool. Someone liked my picture. And where our minds are in so many other places. So at the beginning of a webinar, tell them, hey, the stuff that we're going to be talking about, this is really, really important. This isn't hype. This isn't hyperbole. But what we're going to be talking about literally has the ability to impact and change your life. So I want you to be fully present. I want you to be engaged with us. Next one, number 3. You can write this down. Number 3 is give them a worksheet. Oh, now it's making sense. I get it. Give them a worksheet. Makes for a great giveaway during registration. Makes for a great giveaway during registration. This is the same reason why whenever you got this worksheet, you start skipping around, trying to figure out the answers. And if you miss one, like there's this deep human need to like, what was the blank on that? Like I'll get emails after the webinar, hey, what was number 4? I missed number 4. Like, did you catch the rest of it though? Like I just want to make sure you were with. But people need that. They want it. So having just a fill-in-the-blank worksheet works really, really well as a giveaway during registration. Next one, number 4. Number 4 is ask questions and solicit feedback. Ask questions and solicit feedback. Regularly gauge the audience. Write that down. Regularly gauge the audience. Mario did a great job with this earlier. Hey, is this helpful? Is this good? Are you guys good? Is this helpful? All right. Are we scratching where you're itching? Right, just touching base with them. So we do that on our webinar regularly, every 5-10 minutes. Is this helpful so far? You getting some good ideas? Just put in the chat box. Yes. Put in a smiley face emoji if you're feeling good right now. Just little touch points with them just to make sure. Because again, I can't see their faces. You can't see their faces. So you need some of those touch points just to keep them engaged and interact with them. Next point, you can write this down. The chat box is how you read the audience. Chat box is really how you read the audience. the more active that chat box is, the more you're like, okay, people are here with me. But if I'm going like 5 minutes and like nobody said anything, I'm like, this isn't like they're playing Angry Birds right now. I've got to bring them back. So you want to regularly keep an eye on that chat box and keep them engaged. Next point there is get feedback that gives them quick wins. Get feedback that gives them quick wins. So one of the things that we teach whenever we teach the course on Booked and Paid to Speak is we teach 3 foundational questions related to speaking. You want to answer why is it that you want to speak, who is it that you want to speak to, and what is it that you want to speak about. So at the beginning of our webinars, we talk about these questions. We talk about them in depth. And as we go, we tell people, I want you to chime in. I want you to actually answer these questions. Why is it that you want to speak? Why is it that you showed up here? Well, who is it? If you could speak to anybody, who is it that you would want to speak to? Or what is it that you want to talk about? Assuming you could talk about any topic, what is it that you would want to say? And so telling them, hey, I'm not just asking you a rhetorical question. I want you to answer in the chat box, because it's not only a chance for you to really think about this, but it's also a chance for you to see other people's answers and get some feedback from them. So it gives them a chance to like really clarify, like this is kind of what I'm thinking in terms of my speaking business. Next one, number 5. Number 5 is connect them to each other. Connect them to each other. There's power in being the host of the party. There's power in being the host of the party. This is why like Omar and Nicole are a great example of this. Is they're like, we wanted to have an event that's for people interested in webinars, but like we just wanted a deal to hang out with some friends. Like there's power in this. We view them as this connector. We view them as this expert on this subject because they threw the party. I think one of the best people on the planet for this is John Corcoran. He just knows everybody. Like if before you leave today, like make it your number 1 priority just to hang out with John. And I'm sorry for all the people that are going to now talk to you. But it's really like John is incredibly, incredibly good at connecting people. Like you need to know him, and you need to know. Like I get email introductions from John like almost every week, and it's like great people. It's not like annoying people. You're like, John, you're killing me, man. But like valid people. He had hosted a lunch yesterday with probably 12 or 15 entrepreneurs from around the area, and so now everyone went around and like can introduce themselves real briefly. And I think we spent like half the time just saying, thanks, John, for doing this. Man, this is so cool. Like John hosts the party, and so he's the one that like we view as the expert because he brought the community together. Last thought there, you can write this one down, is building community on the webinar validates the community inside the course. Building community on the webinar validates the community inside the course. One of the things that I tell people at the beginning of our webinars is hey, this is not only a good chance for you and I to connect, but this is a good chance for you to connect with each other. So I see people, like I'm watching on the chat as I'm doing the webinar, people are like, well, here's my Facebook page, or if anyone wants to follow, or here's my email, and this is a chance for them to connect with each other. And so I always like to point out, as part of our course, is we have a private Facebook group, and so you're able to share wins and discuss goals and discuss strategies and to just compare notes on things. So now we have the opportunity to connect them with each other and say, hey, if you like this within the chat group, we do this every day in this Facebook group. That's part of our course. And so you're able just to say, hey, if you want more of this, here's something that we can do, that we can offer. So it allows them an opportunity to not only connect with you, with me as the presenter, but also with each other. And last one here, number 6. Number 6 is encourage feedback and questions. Encourage feedback and questions. Underneath that, answer every question. Answer every question. So I like to just acknowledge questions as I go. I generally will save questions till the end, and then I'll come back and kind of talk about them and go over them. But I'll tell people, like, hey, as they're going, like, hey, Mike, I saw your question there. I'm going to get to that in just a second. And just acknowledge it, give them a heads up. But then at the end, I want to make sure that I will stick around for as long as necessary to answer everybody's question. And here's why. Underneath that, you can write this down, is that those who ask questions are often on the fence about buying. Your answer will reassure them and remove resistance. They're often on the fence about buying. Your answer will oftentimes remove resistance. So I like to spend time at the end just saying, I'm gonna stick around as long as possible. Sometimes I'm answering questions about the course itself. Sometimes I'm answering questions about the webinar. Sometimes I'm answering questions just about speaking. But I want to spend as much time as necessary to answer everybody's questions. So don't just hop on and be like, I've got 2 minutes, I'm going to answer questions, and then I'm out. No. Like the people that are going to stick around and ask questions, they are legitimately interested in what it is that you're offering. So make sure that you answer every single question. All right, last thought. Overall idea here, big idea, is that webinars should be dialogues and not monologues. Webinars should be dialogues and not monologues. This isn't a chance just for you to lecture people, engage with people, interact with people, get their feedback so that when they leave, they don't just feel like, well, I got to hear this guy run his mouth. It's like, no, we were able to connect with him. He was able to connect with us. We were able to connect with each other. So look for opportunities to engage and connect with your audience beyond just giving them some type of lecture. So thanks for letting me hang out with you. You guys are awesome.